What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. You know, it's now or never for the Clippers. And the reason why I say that is because, going the next season will be their fourth year together with Kawhi and PG and the rest of this operation. And it'll be the second year into the contract for both Kawhi and PG, where they possibly have the option to possibly either walk or just maybe even be an unrestricted free agent if they chose to be. And that's exactly, how it was set up, for them to do, because that's exactly, I guess, what they thought was the right thing to do at the time. And with that being said, that player option is always a tricky thing to me, because it allows the player the flexibility to kind of make their own moves after a certain point in the contract. It's almost like saying a player can break the contract in some type of way if they live up to at least that minimal effort to that point. That's just the way I've always looked at it. You may look at it a little bit differently, but in the same aspects, I don't think Kawhi and PG are going anywhere. But at the same time, it's now or never for them, because like I said, this is the year that they have to go out there and just win it, or bare minimum make it to an NBA Finals. The year 2020 was projected for them to actually win it, and that didn't happen. But even the year after that, where Kawhi got hurt in the playoffs and everything, it was definitely looking like they were going to win the whole thing if they would have stayed healthy. And a lot of analysts looked at it that way too, including Stephen A. Smith, of course, Skip Bayless, and even, the hater Shannon Sharp kind of chimed in on it a little bit. But at the same time, this team has to find a way to do it. Because there's not too many years left, and who knows how it's all going to unfold, because, you see situations where superstar players say they're going to stay on a team and all this type of stuff, and then something ends up happening where that doesn't happen. And I'm not saying that's going to be the way the Clippers fate goes, but at the same time, you can't rule out anything when it comes to basketball, any sport, because it's a business at the end of the day, and teams don't stay together for long periods of time. It's just not logical in this day and age of sports. It's not like the 90s where teams stayed together for 5-6 years in the same team and all that stuff. It just doesn't work that way now. So theoretically, the Clippers have to make a move and have to try to win that championship this year, because there's no guarantee going into the following season after this one coming up. So, the right moves are going to have to be made, and or the right pieces are going to have to be put in place, because if they're not, we could find the Clippers being a team where we always thought they could do it, but they never accomplished it. And that's the same thing we thought about the Clippers several years ago with, Blake Griffin and CP3. Had all the talent in the world, had all the right pieces look like, but it just couldn't really find a way to put it together and win it, whether it was injuries or, whether it was just the fact that they just couldn't get past the Spurs, for a long period of time until they actually cracked that code once, I believe. But it's always something. But this is a season, I believe, where they break the curse, because the curse has to be uplifted from this team. They got too much talent to be under that, and they have too much talent not to win it all, if you ask me. I think most people would agree with me too. This team is really put together very well. They have a lot of good pieces. And I personally don't think whatever trades they're thinking about making or looking into, they don't need to let go of their core players. They don't need to let go of players like Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard, Nicholas Batum, players like that. I don't think they need to let go of those type core players to me. Of course, Robert Covington and, of course, Norman Powell, they just got them. So, of course, I believe they're going to keep them. But those type of acquisitions right there and those type of core players you need. And, of course, Kawhi and PG, you definitely want them to stick around and everything like that. I do know a lot of people, my personal self, friends, NBA fans, speaking of, definitely don't mind if Zubac goes and or, Marcus Morris. And I definitely understand that. And even at times, I can say I feel the same way because because of the inconsistencies and things like that. But, Ty Lue especially, he said it, when the season ended, he wanted this team to come back. He wanted another run with this team, with everybody, like every single person. So, if the Clippers actually make that happen, they can add a piece of the team, which is be like a backup point guard or something like that. That would be great. But Ty Lue definitely wants everybody to come back. And I definitely see why. He definitely could see if this team is put together healthy, there's not many teams that can beat them. And I believe most people would agree with me by saying that, because even the team that they have established right now, as I said in my previous videos that you can check out, that they're about unbeatable now. If they actually get a backup point guard or add a point guard to their roster where they can actually settle their offense down at times and let the offense run through him, how their point guard will be able to anchor the offense a lot better and more smoother down the stretch of games. Well, it would be a done deal if they stay healthy. Honestly, I don't see no team even beating them. I can actually see a team forming a big three and still will have problems with the Clippers, just because the Clippers are so defensive sound on the defensive end, but they're also offensively inclined on the offensive end. So all around, they're a well-rounded team in regards to offense and defense. And I don't think nobody will want to see them in a 7-game series, because all the teams you look at right now in the playoffs, either they're really good offensively or they play a little bit of defense, and it only happens at times for them to where they find themselves struggling in the series. The way the Clippers are built as a team, as a unit, I can't see them. I can see them going in the playoffs next year, and every series is 6 games or less. I don't see them having no 7-game series or anything beyond 6 games. And I think most of the series they would play, I think they would beat most of their opponents in 5. That's just how talented and well-rounded their team is. So you add a point guard, it's all over with. And the rest of the league knows that too. So I'm definitely anticipating to see how things go next year. Like I said, with the player options and all that stuff, of course, that stuff is a factor. I don't think it's going to play much of a factor, because I think the Clippers are, a pretty solid group. And, the fact that, I feel like, everybody's going to come back for the most part next year. I feel like there's a good chance after that you might see most of the players come back as well. It's hard to keep a team together, but for so long, I definitely understand that, because contracts, money, other opportunities come up, and, you never know what's on a player's mind. If things aren't working and the media and all that stuff can get to you, you never know. I would hate for, Kawhi Leonard to jump ship, or PG, or whoever the case may be. I hope everybody comes back the same way this year, going into next year, into the following year as well. But like I said, that operation has to work, and it has to end up in a championship. It's really no other way. And like I said, bare minimum, they got to make it to a finals. This operation, the Clippers are going to get so much backlash if they don't find a way to make it to the finals at least next year, from the media, Stephen A. Smith, and then you got Shannon Sharp, and then you got, all these other naysayers out there. The Clippers just got to find a way. There's really no other way out. There's really no other way to look at it. There's really no other way to, put it in perspective. It's just the way it's got to be. As I said, it's now or never for them. Going into next season, it's a now or never season, and that's the way they have to look at it. And like I said, regardless of injury or not, they got to find a way to bare minimum make it to the finals. And that's just the way it's got to be. I hate to really say it that way, but they got bashed so bad when they, fell in the bubble on their face. You know the media is just waiting for the Clippers not to make the finals next year, and don't let them be 100% healthy and don't make the finals next year. They are going to have to ship town, because they're not going to be able to deal with all the antics and the BS that's coming from the media and people around them. And then, Steve Ballmer spending all this money on the arena and all, the players and everything. You don't want it to look like a waste. So I personally believe things will work out for them, because they're just so talented. And they got so many pieces, but we got to see it all, flourish together, and we got to see them find a way to win the championship. And if they're healthy next year, I definitely believe they will. And hey, that's how I see it. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. As always, check out my previous videos if you haven't. And hey, Khaliis out.